Hello, my name is David Makinson. I'm based at the London School of Economics, and I'm posting this video for the Unilog 2018 organised in Vichy, France. I've worked in a number of areas of logic: modal logic, the logic of norms, the logic of belief change, non-monotonic reasoning, and most recently, relevance logic. And the title of my talk is A New Perspective for Relevance Logic. It's intended for everybody who has ever heard of relevance logic, including those who have been disappointed by what they've seen. Now, relevance logic emerged more than half a century ago, but it never succeeded in becoming part of the mainstream of logic. Why is that? Because the existing approaches to the subject have not been very satisfactory. The Hilbertian axiomatizations rest on a jumble of a dozen or so axioms without visible criteria for their choice rather than exclusion. Even the natural deduction approach, which is based on a simple and appealing idea, becomes awkward and unsatisfying when that idea is given a formal implementation. Of course, the most fashionable approach these days is in terms of possible world semantics, with three-place relations instead of the two-place ones that are familiar from Kripke models for modal logics. But, in contrast to the modal situation, nobody has ever been able to give a convincing intuitive reading for the formal constraints that must be placed on those relations in order to generate suitable logical outputs. So we can ask, is relevance logic a failed research program? Is it a quixotic attempt to express in merely formal terms a notion that is really one of content? Does it rest on a confusion between when we may validly make an inference and when it might be wise to do so? Until recently, I thought the answers to these questions were all positive. But I'm beginning to think that the announcements of the death of relevance logic may be rather premature. It appears that we can generate an appealing relevance logic close to the well-known system R by suitably adapting and constraining the treatment of the conditional in the widely used and pedagogically popular procedure of semantic decomposition trees for classical logic. The adaptation is simple and intuitively transparent. You may ask, is it semantic or is it syntactic? Is it classical or is it non-classical? And I think the answer is it's some of each. The decomposition procedure alone is semantic, and indeed is purely classical, but the constraint placed upon it is syntactic. The combination of the two generates a non-classical logic. In other words, we are using a purely classical semantics expressed via decomposition trees, but with syntactic control on those trees. How does it work? That will be explained in the talk.